whatever and says, oh, bought at $2,001.39 or whatever, and silver spot is at $25 and change, whatever. But they can create as much gold and silver as they want. That does not exist.
Right.
But what have we seen with the premiums when you want to buy the physical? So we're seeing in that area what will happen is the premiums will get larger and larger as they are now, and will more accurate. At this point, they are not accurate to the fundamental value at all, which I would gauge is somewhere around 15,000 or more globally. If it were the U.S., it'd be more than probably about 60,000, 70,000 an ounce, which I know sounds outrageous, but this is a $20 gold coin, right? So 1900, well, if you told somebody someday that one of gold is going to be trading at $2,000 on the stock market from 20, they would have told you were crazy. So not so crazy because it's more reflective of its true demand and supply quality. So there's lots of demand that's coming for both of these entities, but it will be more realistic to a true supply and demand economy.
Right. We need to look at silver and gold and price it in terms of goods and services, not in fiat dollars, not in fiat currencies. You know, and it's one of the reasons why I buy gold and silver and never sell it. I have no interest in converting this back into some fiat currency that is being included.
When we do the CBDC, right, then, I mean, it used to be, look, when they go to the CBDC, people are going to think, oh, okay, they've solved it. But they haven't solved it. They have to get rid of all of the debt. They have to finish the transfer of wealth. The way that we are all going to know that they're truly at the end is when they put a component of gold in it, because that creates fiscal responsibility.
And it's not like the reset, some people say, it's just going to be when the next entity, like the IMF comes in with the SDR, special drawing rights, and says, oh, we're going to save central banks. Well, the SDR is simply a basket of a bunch of leading fiat currencies. It's still not real money. That's not going to work. It's not going to save us. They're going to still try it.
Yes. So, what people also have to understand is you vote with your purse and your wallet. So if you buy the money market fund or stocks or annuities or ETFs or any of that garbage, that's your vote, and you're basically saying it's okay with me if you take all my wealth. When you buy gold and silver, that is when you are actually taking your wealth out of the system, holding it in real money, and when you need this garbage to transact, you can convert it into that garbage and then use it like that, rather than giving these central banks an opportunity to steal more of your wealth.
Let me play devil's advocate just for a minute.
I love that.
Okay, fine. The whole economic system has been hollowed out. It's increasingly unsound. It's a con game, but it's been that way for so long, Lynette. Why can't it just keep on going? Look, the same people were saying the same thing during the financial crisis and the global recession. And look what they did. They can kick this can, I don't say down the road, I say up the mountain, as long as they want. Why is it going to end? And why are we getting close to that, Lynette?
Great question. I love that question. Okay, here's why we are acting up. First of all, I've been studying currencies and currency life cycles since 1987. And there are patterns that you see 100% of the time. So frankly, if we're doing the same thing and you're seeing all those same patterns, and I see all of them right now, chances are you're going to get the same results. And there are over 9,800 currencies that no longer live, so you've got a lot of data to draw on. But officially, my favorite chart right? If you said to me you can only use one chart, then the one that I would choose is from the Federal Reserve Education Department, the FRED, F-R-E-D, and you just in the search bar put purchasing power of the consumer dollar. And what you will see is in 1913 there was $1 worth of purchasing power, and today there is barely more than 3 cents. So, one of the big problems and why you can't kick the can down the road is because there's no more purchasing power to inflate away. The second reason is because the key tool that the central bankers have to regulate the rate and speed of inflation are interest rates. And we were anchored at 0 for like 14 years.
15 years, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That did a lot of stuff to the banking system, as we just saw.
Yeah.
But aside from that, they're raising the rates only so they can lower them again. And truthfully, they experimented with negative rates, and that didn't work, did it?
Nope.
What are they debating? Oh, maybe there'll be one more rate increase. Maybe they'll cut. Blah, 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 blah. It's all garbage. It's just window dressing. To make people think that they actually have some choices, they have no choices. It doesn't matter. If they cut, well, that'll just speed up the inflation to a more noticeable level. Because guess what happened? Even though they were trying to run off their balance sheet, in other words, reduce their balance sheet, that went from $800 billion in 2007 to $8.6 trillion just recently. So they tried to run it off very, very slowly, a little bit. In other words, sell those bonds, treasuries, and mortgage-backed securities, and boom! If you look at their balance sheet, up like a rocket ship again. So they can say, don't call this QE. Like the Bank of England, too, when they were doing all their money printing, buying the bonds because their treasury market was falling apart. Don't call it QE. Well, arose by any other name. You know, you can call it whatever you want. They don't say confiscation, but isn't inflation a form of confiscation by confiscating the value, the purchasing power value of your money and your work?
The chart I absolutely love, the one that shows over centuries global reserve currencies burning out. They keep around, every 100 years or so, they're gone. And I also think of the quote from, I think it's Ernest Hemingway, when he was describing his own personal bankruptcy. He said it occurred gradually, then suddenly.
Yep. And what's kept us in the position of the world reserve currency that enabled all of that was the petrodollar. And Saudi Arabia, I mean, first of all, it's OPEC plus. So it's the plus. Russia is the plus, right? And they just completed a couple of deals, like 2 deals in China for their refineries, and have come out and said, well, we can accept any currency for our oil. It doesn't just have to be dollars. So if it doesn't just have to be dollars, then why do all those central banks need to continue to hold it? And did we not just show the world that if you don't do what we want through the SWIFT system, the global payment system, that we will, boom, cut you off? So our arrogance, our level of arrogance is absolutely incredible to me.
People call it the fourth turning. A shift in the way the world operates. And I think we are living in that day right now. In fact, I keep saying it's this decade. I don't see us coming out of this decade without an absolute reset, a complete change in the way in the central bank digital currencies will be the tool that they're able to engineer that reset.
So, I mean, they're going to bring that out, but until there's a component of gold in there, and the IMF has discussed putting a component of gold. Originally, it was based on gold, and then, of course, when we went to pure fiat, they took the gold out. But once there's a component of gold in there, but I am in 100% agreement with what you're saying here. And, you know, but it also makes me wonder. I'm 100% certain, I'm a gazillion% certain that global central banks understand that we are at the end of this currency's life cycle, right? I mean, everything has a life cycle. I guarantee you I'm at a different place in my life cycle at 68 than my granddaughter that just turned 8, right? Different life cycle.
Right.
So if they absolutely know that, and I'm certain they do because the currencies don't have any value left, and they're anchored at 0, right? So if that is indeed the case, are you absolutely certain that this whole issue, and there's definitely a transition of power, is not part of a attempt to create a controlled implosion, demolition, to go into that next iteration?
Mm-hmm.
Food, water, energy security, barterability, wealth preservation, community, and shelter. To have a foundation of gold and silver, kind of critical, because this is recognizably barterable.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! Where is it? Where's the rest? Where's the money?
What's up, guys? It's your boy Benny. I spent 15 years working in Washington, D.C. in the corporate press and in corporate PR, and so I know a thing or two about crisis PR. And let me tell you something right now. Oprah is going through a crisis. Oprah released this mewling video with The Rock, who's also from Hawaii, to his great shame, partnering with Oprah in this creepy, weird, both of them wearing red video, talking about how much they care about Maui, and how they demand that you pay money to the people of Maui while they, the billionaires, sit there and gobble up your money in order to protect their favorite little vacation spot. Well, this has been received exactly how you'd think it has been received, very, very poorly. The top comments here are, "Where were you the night of the fire, Oprah?" Yeah, that's right. And as Oprah posts more stupid, dumb, mewling videos about walking through the 2,000 acres of land that she owns in Maui. Well, that's interesting. Why does Oprah own so much land? Here's a video of her wandering through because she has so much land. Has she offered any of that land to the people who were displaced by the Maui fires? Has she lifted a finger for these people? Oh, yeah, baby. We'll show you in just a second exactly how Oprah's finger works. Check out some of the comments on here, though. I just gotta see this. Stop buying land in Hawaii. It's the first most liked comment. 1,000 acres, what's it for? Why are you and all your good friends there trafficking and give back what belongs to the people of Hawaii? Ooh, baby, that's hot. Billionaires like Oprah Winfrey are orchestrating the fires to grab valuable land in Maui from indigenous populations. Oh, boy. Yikes. Here we go. How are you not canceled yet? How about you donate your land back to the people of Lahaina if you actually cared about them, rather than making some corny videos asking the average suffering American to give to your fraud. Stop stealing native Hawaiian land, please. Man, unbelievable. She's just getting destroyed. Oprah's getting destroyed over this. And she rightfully is getting destroyed because people aren't buying it. Meaning, literally, people aren't donating. Check this out. This is directly from her TikTok. Here's a screen recording of how that fundraiser is going thus far.
Back and forth. And I read this article.
Click on the donation link. Let's see. 118 donors. $4,000 raised total from this video. This is from the Ross account. Let's go ahead and check Oprah's account.
Concerned about what was happening in Maui, that we were texting back and forth.
This is from,
and I read this article.
The support link will show us, less than the Rock, 4.6K, 95 donors. She can't even crack 100 donors. She has multi-millions of followers. She has 100 million followers across all of her social media, and she can't crack 95 donors. This is insane. They can't raise $10,000 together? This is so unbelievably pathetic. This is so shockingly, repulsively pathetic. And people are right. People are just right to call her out in her fraudulence. Now, Oprah released a video in a giant 10-gallon hat looking like a Muppet here, apparently, for some reason that is inexplicable to me. She released a video bragging that they have $10,000 individual donors. Okay, where the hell are they? They sure aren't on TikTok. Now here is a screenshot of the donations on Instagram. So you can see here the donations are much higher here than on TikTok. And they're saying that they're close to their fundraising goal. But again, they're billionaires, ladies and gentlemen. Their fundraising goal was $1 million. They're billionaires. Again, this lady is the one buying up 2,000 acres in Maui. So this is what crisis communications looks like. This is a crisis for Oprah. This is why they're doing this. They're not doing this out of the goodness of their own heart. They're doing this because they are facing a crisis in the press. So Oprah owns thousands of acres of this island. She hasn't given a single acre to the people who've been displaced. Oprah saw headlines like this. Oprah silent amid Maui fires as desperate Hawaii residents beg for celebrity billionaires with homes on the island to help. Now, Oprah is far from the only billionaire on the island. There is Jeff Bezos' home. There is Larry Ellison, owns like this entire island, effectively. There are, a lot of rich people on this island. Owen Wilson, Clint Eastwood. There are rich people on the island. But Oprah, right here, Oprah's land, as you can see here, sort of like sits in a way that you could sort of look out at all the fires burning from her massive palatial estate. It was only a matter of time before people were like, wait a second, Oprah, didn't you give away a bunch of cars at one point? Why are you doing nothing for the people that empty your trash cans and cut the primrose on your bushes and pick little fruits from your garden? This is a photo that'll probably come back to bite her. Oprah's farm! Wow, Oprah on her own website. Take a sneak peek at Oprah's Hawaii garden bounty. It's bountiful life, indeed. It's crisis PR. That's what's going on. Oprah's not raising any money from this. Oprah's a billionaire. A billion means 1,000 million, right? So $1 million 1,000 times. That's $1 billion. Oprah has 4 of those. They say it's $3.5 billion. Surrounding error. So that's what Oprah is. And Oprah's sitting here trying to bragging about raising nearly $1 million. Oh, okay. Got it. Really kind of you, Oprah. It's also a crisis because, well, Oprah has published these glossy images of her home, calling it the perfect 21st century farmhouse, saying she wanted to tear down the ordinary little gray ranch, the ordinary home, which is probably like a home beyond the wildest dreams of the people who actually live there. She wanted to tear it down. But now she's rehabilitated it, and she even got a horse to stand out front for the photo. Look at this. From this beautiful little ensconced, blanketed rocking chair, Oprah can watch all the fires on the island, knowing that she has a private fire department to protect her house. Allegedly. This is according to the Atlanta Black Star. Oprah Winfrey faces accusations of hiring private firefighters to protect her massive estate during Maui fire, thus stealing resources from the people on the island. Now, we have not been able to validate this. We will simply reveal to you what has been posted online. This is the post. Allegedly a woman. Certainly not a donor to Oprah's Little People's Fund. But this is a woman who says that Oprah hired private firefighters to protect her house. We will certainly be following this story. We do find it weird that they deleted her account for making these accusations. That's what's happening. This account is private. In the comment sections, the people who remixed her TikTok say that they removed the sound, so this woman is not allowed to speak. Yikes. How about the People's Fund of Maui? Why does this thing only have 13,000 followers? Like, you're getting tagged and promoted by The Rock. The Rock has 390 million followers. Got it? 390 million. How many followers does Oprah have? 22 million. Okay, so, I mean, a lot less than The Rock. But still, between the two of you, you have close to a 500 million followers. And you can't raise $5,000 for your stupid fund? People are calling them out. There are also, a lot of people are saying that this fund is in association with the entertainment industry. Uh-oh. So this is the EIF, the Entertainment Industry Foundation. You'll see this fund is associated with Barack Obama, extreme left-wing Barack Obama, the climate grifters over here, Haitian fundraising, LOL, and who else? Ooh, Colin Kaepernick, got it, and Cher, and Charlize Theron. Ooh, baby, there was a dark story there. Well, maybe we need to look into at some point. Charlize Theron's outreach in Africa. Yeah. None of these people are actually, they're not good-spirited people. They're awful, wretched, horrible people that use foundations like this in order to project the image.
What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Chair, I support House Resolution 1243, which requests President Biden to release information to the House regarding his family's international business arrangements. And behind me is an email from 2016 during the Obama-Biden administration between Hunter Biden and Miguel Alemán, the son of a Mexican billionaire and grandson of the former Mexican president. The email begins, quote, "We are arriving late tonight on SEP to Mexico City. We will be there for Thursday. I'm attending a meeting with President Nieto with Dad." The highlighted sections here are significant. Quote, "We have been talking about business deals and partnerships for 7 years. I've brought every single person you've ever asked me to bring to the effing White House and the Vice President's house at the inauguration. I've delivered on every single thing you've ever asked." In this email, Hunter Biden acknowledges his attendance at a meeting between Mexican President Nieto and then Vice President Biden. He discusses business deals and partnerships with a wealthy and politically connected Mexican family, and references access provided to Mexican businessmen at the White House and the Vice President's residence. That states he had already delivered on every single thing you've ever asked. And we also have a picture of Vice President Biden, Hunter Biden, Miguel Alemán, his father, and Carlos Slim, one of the richest men in the world in 2015 while Joe Biden was president. And this is what we're asked to believe, that then Vice President and current President Joe Biden has no idea what's going on in Hunter's businesses, and whether Hunter might be compromised by America's adversaries across the world. Just a few months ago, I showed these images to Matthew Olson, who's the current Assistant AG for the Department of Justice's National Security Division. His division is responsible for administering FARA, which requires individuals representing foreign principals to register with DOJ, and I asked him about this. He refused to answer whether these images raised any concerns that Hunter Biden may have violated FARA. He also refused to comment on concerns raised by FBI whistleblowers who reported that the FBI had committed a widespread effort within the FBI to downplay or discredit negative information about Hunter Biden. Well, for years, members of Congress have also sought access to suspicious activity reports filed by banks to the Department of Treasury. And when it was revealed the Biden family had generated at least 150 of these reports, the policy of allowing congressional access to them was suddenly changed by this administration. The problem's gotten so bad that House Financial Services Committee Chairwoman Maxine Waters authored legislation to reverse the Biden administration's policy change, and that passed the House earlier this year. President Biden told the American people that he never discussed his family's business abroad with them. Now, that was a lie. President Biden not only discussed his family's international business, he participated in it. His emails show it was a lie. We were told in 2020 that when Hunter Biden's laptop, which contains, as now been revealed, a massive treasure trove of evidence of Hunter Biden's international business deals, and also recently reported, as recently within the last 10 days, that a second laptop has been found. We were told that that was Russian disinformation by the same people who are sitting across the dais from us today, telling us that we should not even probe this. We should not even look for this. We should not even ask for this. The reality is, this was not Russian disinformation. Well, even the Washington Post and even the New York Times, nearly a year after that laptop being discovered, have admitted it and acknowledged the veracity of the information on those laptops. That gives us further impetus to go forward here, because as the ranking member has repeatedly said, we need to know what's going on, because a SARS report is something very serious, and it indicates potential compromising of the highest office in the land. The reversal of longstanding Treasury Department policy raises serious questions about the motives behind the change, and specifically whether it's being designed to protect Hunter Biden. We should get those and go forward, which is why I'm going to vote yes. And now, Madam Chair, I can either read every one of these, but I would like to submit for the record more than 100 articles, everything from the Washington Times to the UK Mail to the New York Times and the Washington Post, about the Hunter Biden story and everything related here. I'm happy to read the title off each and every one.
So ordered, without objection.
And you don't want me to read them? Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll use that.
Representative Clyde, you are now recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. First, let me comment on my Democratic colleague from Georgia's statement on his assertion that the Democrats had wins for the American people. Well, let me go through a few of those wins. 40-year high inflation, wide open borders, rampant crime, and soaring energy costs. These are the Democrat wins. These are the big Democrat wins. But they're not for the American people. They're for the Democrats. But I rise to speak in support of Res. 1243. This resolution provides Congress with necessary information to review and address apparent conflicts of interest regarding President Joe Biden and members of his family. Without the ability to review documents held by the United States Treasury, such as suspicious activity reports, information which was previously routinely provided to Congress until the Biden administration, without the ability to review these documents, we cannot carry out proper congressional oversight. Hunter Biden's Chinese business deals are just one concern. In 2012, as Joe Biden and Barack Obama ran for re-election, Hunter and his longtime business partner, Devin Archer, now sentenced for fraudulent activities, reportedly entered talks with a Jonathan Lee, a Chinese national who ran Bohai Capital. The group founded private equity fund Bohai Harvest RSD-BHR, and BHR is Biden Hunter Robert, on December the 16th, 2013, 11 days after Vice President Biden flew to Beijing to meet with President Xi Jinping. Hunter told the New Yorker he had explicitly requested to join Vice President Biden, his father, on the trip and arranged for Lee to meet his father. The New York Times reported that Hunter, Archer, and Christopher Heinz served on the board and controlled 30% of BHR. The rest of the company is owned and/or controlled by Chinese investors that include the Bank of China, according to records filed with Chinese regulators. In 2016, BHR, through funds that came entirely from Chinese state-backed companies, contributed over $1 billion to the buyout of Arizona-based Freeport-McMoRan for the purchase of a cobalt copper mine in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And my good friend Mr. Donald talked about cobalt. Hunter Biden stood to gain millions on the deal. The firm also purchased a stake in China's contemporary Empiric Technology Company, the world's biggest maker of batteries for electric vehicles. Committee Republicans have already written to the Transportation Secretary about our concerns that due to the Biden administration's policies, American jobs are suffering. For example, Ford Motor Company recently announced that it will cut 8,000 more American jobs. As Republicans highlighted in our January letter to the National Archivist, the American people deserve answers on the extent of Hunter Biden's business dealings, both domestic and abroad, and whether, or really how much, then Vice President Joe Biden was aware of the extent to which his son was trading on President Biden's name, or Vice President Biden's name. Thank you, and I yield back.
Back. Now recognize Representative May.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I rise in support of Ranking Member Comer's resolution H.R. 1243 in this inquiry. Looking for corruption or pay to play or any of those things should be nonpartisan issues. And as someone who has worked with both sides of the aisle, I know that firsthand. Corruption is neither on one side or the other. It is on both, and we should willingly be investigating this. And if for no other reason, a most recent podcast that featured Mark Zuckerberg from August 25th on the Joe Rogan Experience, if for no other reason, his own admission that the FBI hid and told social media companies like Facebook, according to Mark Zuckerberg, to reduce the propensity or the availability of articles related to Hunter Biden's laptop on social media in days leading up to the 2020 election. For that reason alone, we should be opening this inquiry. It's crazy to think that we're talking about the public interest and the public good. Well, subverting publicly available information is not for the public good. It's not in the public interest. I've heard today from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle talking about what President Biden has done for America, citing out the Inflation Reduction Act, for example, where economists on both sides of the aisle have stated that the Inflation Reduction Act isn't actually going to do anything for inflation. In fact, 0.25%, it would improve inflation in about 7 years. It is a ridiculous argument to say that really Build Back Better Light is an Inflation Reduction Act. It's not. I heard earlier today from my comments across the aisle talking about Roe v. Wade. Democrats, in fact, including President Biden, had the opportunity, and they talked about overturning Roe v. Wade in the early 80s out of Joe Biden's own mouth. And looking at the comments by former Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, also talking about the flaws of Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade is extreme. That is not where the rest of the country is. And in fact, under Obama's administration, the Democrats had an opportunity to codify Roe v. Wade and decided not to. So this hysteria over Roe v. Wade is completely manufactured. And you look at the rest of America, we're not putting our country first. And look at what's happened with our border. Over 4 million people have come across the border since in the last year and a half, since President Biden was sworn into office. And in fact, just last night, 2 kilograms of fentanyl was found in a police bus in the state of South Carolina. That amount of fentanyl could kill thousands of people. I heard comments from the left today about respecting those who serve, and that is important, but it's not respectful to the people of this country when we refuse to work together, even when we're investigating corruption, even when we're investigating something as just, minute as, according to media reports, over 150 financial transactions that were flagged that were related to Hunter Biden and his associates. And the last suspicious activity, and the last time I checked, suspicious activity means high-dollar transactions that are highly unusual, that it could indicate some possible criminal activity like money laundering or tax evasion. This level of suspicious activity, when you read through the 80 text and email messages in that laptop, understanding that now, as Ranking Member Comer rightly pointed out, 2 people have confirmed the big guy was Joe Biden. We saw my colleague from Arizona show the photo and the email leading up to some of what's happening in the White House when Biden was vice president and his son's business activity. These are things that we should be laser focused on. The American people want to see us work together and to investigate some of these issues. I mean, just the shady business deals alone, are all things that we should be investigating. But we know what happened. We know that mainstream media and big tech silenced the average American's availability to that information. in the days leading up to an election. They label these stories as disinformation. They label these stories as crackpot conservative conspiracy theories. They label these stories as Russian propaganda, and now we're only now learning that now some mainstream media is starting to write lengthy dossiers and reports on how it was all true. And now Democrats and the left are scratching their heads as to why the American people are demanding more information. The American people have been misled intentionally by Democrats and by the mainstream media. So my Republican colleagues and I, we promise to get to the bottom of these answers, regardless of our colleagues, whether they decide to help us or not on the other side of the aisle. Thank you.
People have lost faith in the FBI. All of our constituents are demanding that we get the situation under control, and we have to do that. That's our responsibility. This is not a political party issue, sir. This is about whether the very system of justice in our country can be trusted anymore. Without that, no republic can survive. See, the American people that we represent are losing count of the scandals that are mounting. The FBI has been involved in evidence that it's being used as a political tool by the Biden administration. They've seen counterterrorism resources being used by school parents, the homes of conservative political opponents being raided. They've seen conservative states being targeted as their election integrity laws. Conservative Catholics and pro-life citizens characterized as violent extremism. Just last month, as you know, former special counsel sat right in that seat and testified that the Justice Department and the FBI should never have launched the bogus Trump-Russia investigation. And his lengthy report reluctantly concluded that the FBI, quote, failed to uphold its mission of strict fidelity to the law. Just last week, NBC had a poll. Only 37% of registered voters now view the FBI positively. 35% of them.
Hello, everybody. Economic Energy here. I hope you're doing well. I want to talk to you about what you're doing right now with our country. The psychological warfare, in my opinion, is well underway. And I believe that crazy stuff in the next 4 weeks to cover up an economic collapse. And it's going to be done in a way where most people don't realize it's happening. Just like it happened to us in 2020, where we were forced to learn math, where we were forced to do things that we never would have done in the first place. And it shocked many of us that people just fell right in line, lockstep. Is probably the best way to put it. Now, I will say this as well. There are a lot of people that fell for this and look back and sincerely regret it. Type 1 if you're that person. And I don't blame you. I cannot blame anyone. I believe that our country is being ran by a handful of nutballs. People that are straight up insane. They live their life based off of emotions. It's one thing to show your emotions through humility and caring and love. It is another thing to use your emotions to scream and attack and hurt people to try and gain power. That is totally different. Before I dive into the story, I just want to say this so I don't have everybody upset. This is the last week for the real estate crash course to get ready for this. That it's going to be 80% off. It'll never be that low again. I have a week low. I just have to make that announcement. So here's the story out of Zero Hedge, and then I'm going to follow it up with another story of CNN, and I'm going to show you the narrative that is being pushed. And I think it is very, very important. GOP governors say not happening here after Maryland school implements N95 mask mandate. I thought personally we were way past this, but I did a video about a week and a half ago, which you shared a lot, and I really appreciate it. And I know I'm going on the line and taking risks with the channel when I talk about these kind of things, but I would be remiss if I warn people and try and show you the trying to attack people psychologically. It says here, the actions of one Maryland school mandated an N95 mask after a tiny outbreak of COVID has prompted fierce criticism from at least 2 Republican governors. Now, I've said this before and I will say it again. I believe that we only have about 2 or 3 weeks to warn about this on social media before they start wiping our channels, giving us check marks and all that kind of stuff. I thought that all of the truth would come out. It's glaringly obvious that those masks don't work, that they actually hurt people, they can cause infections and respiratory issues and things like that. Just the bacteria alone that builds up on those is insane. It's like a petri dish for horrible things. But now we're back, right? We've seen Lionsgate mask up, and I think you're going to see more in the coming weeks of schools going ahead and doing this. And it is ironic, don't you think, that this variant comes out of Canada, and it's different than everything before, and none of the shots before worked, but guess what? We've got one just in time. Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do. I bet you are just waiting for this opportunity. Or did you make this opportunity? And that's what I believe is actually happening. Type 3 if you believe that this is being set up to hide something much bigger. Whether it be the upcoming elections or an impending economic collapse. If you think, no, this is COVID, and this is just how it happens, and we're just really happy to have a lot of scientists that work really diligently overnight, right when the variant comes out, to make a new shot to put in your arm within 24 hours of it coming out, 48 hours. And that's right? Yeah. And I see everybody typing the 3s, and I can tell that you're intelligent people. This is a tweet from Clay Travis. It says, a D.C. elementary school in Montgomery County, Maryland, is reinstating a mask mandate for N95 for 3rd graders over a few kids testing positive for COVID. Here's a letter. They're coming with masks for your kids again. Get ready. This is insanity. And he shows the letter. It says, Dear parents of this school. Oh, mind you, this isn't a school that's in the Midwest. It's not on the West Coast. This is really close to Biden. And I'm going to tell you what he just did, right? Is he's trying to push a narrative. And his wife's at it, too. This letter is to inform you that 3 more individuals have tested positive for COVID-19 within the last 10 days. We're taking the following steps to keep our school environment safe. First off, additional N95 masks have been distributed, and students and staff in identified class activities will be required to mask while in school for the next 10 days. Be nice if their parents said, you know what, my kid's going to stay home for the next 10 days. How's that? At home, rapid test kits will be sent home, available for students, and then we will continue to reinforce good hand washing and following cleaning. What they're trying to reinforce to children is, no, we're good zombies, we're good slaves. And let's show everybody around the world that we're good slaves. It says here, Sarah Huckabee Sanders wrote on X, rest assured that as long as I'm governor of Arkansas, we will not force our kids to wear masks in school. Presumably the school has not had a chance to read the latest studies. Because, and we're talking about the school in Maryland, it's all these studies showing how masks are horrible, they don't work, this is crap. You could see the thumbnail that I used, and it was this. Because your commander-in-chief, it's not my president. Let me know down below. Type, not my president, or type, who's my president below. I'm just curious. I've got a feeling I know what we're about to see. Joe Biden entered a press conference wearing a mask. Let me get down to that part. It says the move comes as Joe Biden donned a face diaper as he arrived at a White House gathering before removing it altogether. There's a video of it. And, you know that puppet that he's got working for him that'll say anything? You know, Biden, she says that Biden will be now wearing a mask indoors again. Didn't go into a lot of detail. This is why. This is really ironic. And I got to be honest with you, I think that we are in a moment where we need to recognize the Kabuki theater, the play that they're making. It's really crazy that within a week of Biden being interviewed in front of Tahoe at his Tahoe vacation house, you know, where he spends most of his presidency on vacation, he was interviewed and he said he's contemplating with this new virus that's come out, there's a variant and there's an uptick, rather than really waiting to see if there's actually a real uptick. You know, hey, you know what? I'm considering forcing all Americans to take this next booster, whether they've had all of them or not. And remember, if you've had all of them, and I read through the comments of that last video, and I saw so many people that said, I took this shot, or I took the shot in 2 boosters, and every single one of them, I am so in regret, and my heart goes out to you. But at the same time, I've got to tell you, I'm excited for you, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but when you have to go through something in life that's hard, and you look back on it and you regret it, it fuels a fire inside of you. And when you start to realize the horrible things that our government's been doing to other countries, let alone our own people, and enslaving us, and if this wasn't a big wake-up call, what happened in 2020, and then later on when you go, I took the shot, why did I take it? I'm still getting it. As a matter of fact, I'm getting COVID more than people that didn't take it. It's very blaringly obvious. Well, we can work with that. You can work with that. Use that energy, that emotion, that raw, pissed off fire inside of your gut to get ready for what they got planned for you next. And I want to remind you that New World Order and that WEF, that World Economic Forum that certified themselves as the end-all, be-all to the world's problems economically, they want you to be a slave. They said that by a certain year, you're going to own nothing and like it. They want you to eat bugs because beef makes testosterone, and they are scared to death of that. They want you eating plants and bugs so that you're weak-minded and weak-bodied. End of story. And once you start to realize what they've just done to us, then you can start to see what they're about to do, and you can do something about it. Now, this is a clarion call. This is a wake-up call. And I need people sharing this stuff because we've only got a couple of weeks. And I'd give it all up to share the truth, because the only reason I'm right here in front of you is because I've been blessed by Jesus Christ. And I've been told to tell the truth, because if I don't go and warn, no blood's on my hands. But the thing is once I warn you and I tell you, it's now in your hands. And once you have the information and knowledge, it's on your hands if you don't share it as well. And I believe that within the next couple of weeks, because remember, this all came out in the last couple of years, that the government's been paying Facebook, Twitter, and it may be this platform, we may find out, and it may all be for naught, to favor what they want, to tell you what they want you to hear. Remember, Hitler had a minister of propaganda, and so do we. And this is serious times, and it's time to wake up. Look at the way that our government pensions are set up. They're set up in order to be able to blackmail you and hold you at bay and to keep their fingers on you, keep their thumb on you. The way the military is set up, the way government's set up, many of them, you can't leave until a certain date or you lose it all. You may get just a little pittance when you're 57, but you can't just work 15 years and get a retirement based off that 15 years. You got to wait the whole time. You want to know why that was set up a long time ago? It's very powerful men in charge knew that they could hold this over you, that if you start to get out of line and go, this isn't right what you guys are doing, this is nefarious, I want to blow the whistle, I want to go share this with somebody, they go, we'll fire you and you'll lose your pension. And they've used that simple technique to hold the thumb on so many good-hearted American men and women throughout the century. And I want people to understand that was actually done on purpose. Because if you think about it, money's money, time is time. What would it hurt the government to know, yes, you work 10 years and we have a basic calculation, this is how much you'll get for retirement. And you're able to get up to this much. But it's not set up that way. Michelle, thank you for the super chat. We need to be actively sharing any bit of truth we can, no matter if it's this channel or other channels. You need to blast it on every social media thing. And I'll tell you, one of the most powerful things most people don't know, go onto Facebook, use Facebook to destroy Facebook. That company needs to go down. Go join all those groups, the groups on Facebook, because you may only have 50 friends, 20 friends, 1,000 friends. Those groups, they got 250,000 people on there, these social groups. And you join them, and then you go, hey, look at this little bit of news I've got. These economic channels that have like 250,000 people. These real estate channels that have like 500,000 people on there trying to buy real estate. You're like, hey, did you know that real estate's collapsing right now? And this is why. Check it out. Use Facebook to destroy Facebook. So here's the next story, and we need to line up with we need to understand and identify the narrative that they're pushing. So Joe Biden a week ago says in front of his Lake Tahoe vacation house where he spends most of the time, I think I'm contemplating forcing all Americans to take this. Right? I'm telling you, he really is. He's a nutball. I don't even know how to prove that anymore. Type 5 if you agree with that. I think that Joe Biden will do anything he's told by his handlers. Here's the story out of CNN. Joe Biden trying to get that Senate bill. This is a normal thing. And we all know people that were lying right up with him. They voted for him before, and they vote for anybody that's not Trump this time because they're nutballs, because they think with their emotions. They're called liberals. They are run by their emotions. And we're not talking about the good ones that make good men and stronger men and women, compassionate and humble and powerful men and women. We're talking about weak people that cry and whine and need a safe space. So check this out. It's weird. Joe Biden shows him a mask. Oh, guess what? His wife got COVID. Oh, well, wait a minute. All the fact checkers are saying, but she's got all of her shots. She's got all of her. I mean, we watched this live, right? We watched them getting jabbed. Oh, yeah, but it doesn't work. Oh, that's right. The first one didn't work. None of the ones behind it works. But now the president's going to force everyone to get the next one. Oh, it's almost like they're trying to poison something. Okay. Did he even get them? Weird. How many of you know somebody that got this, got the vaccine, and then they've gotten COVID multiple times? Multiple times. I know this to be a fact. And what's even crazier to me, and I think it's because deep down inside their gut they know the truth, they'll never get it. It blows me away. So here we go. First lady, the one that's been with her husband since she was 14 years old. There's photos of it. He even came out at the press conference. That, she was his nanny. Let's be honest here. And I hope you understand what I'm putting out there, because I am sacrificing a lot, but I care more about you guys knowing the truth. Because this is the precursor to something coming called the mark of the beast. And in the Bible, where it says there's going to be something implanted on your right hand or your forehead, and there's already 2 million people with it, RFID chip that sits right here in your right hand. I've seen people with it. Shook their hand. I've seen into their eyes. In the Bible, it says even the elect will be deceived. But would you agree with me in type 10 if you believe that even the elect, some of the people that you would have thought where wise people, smart people, influential people in 2020 fell for this line, hook, line, and sinker. And I believe that this whole thing is a preemptive, it's a foreshadowing of that coming mark of the beast. And I really hope that you're in line with God, your maker, Jesus Christ. And if you don't know him, I highly suggest you look up in the sky and say, God, if you're real, I just want to know the truth. Because I want to know the one that created you. If you're real, I just want to know you. First Lady Joe Biden tests positive for COVID-19. So all the fact checks that are running around going, jeez. What do the fact checkers say? Well, there's no way of checking that fact. We're not saying they're having her spit or piss or swab a freaking test. Oh, like this test out of Reedy, California that we just found out, the Chinese biolab that was just uncovered, that the news couldn't get out there. I see a story here, and it gets more views than the news channel in 90 days trying to fix it. Oh, and it was funded by Newsom. Oh, yeah. Oh, they were trying to weaponize mice with HIV and COVID, and then they were producing illegal tests. Can you imagine a day where you take a swab to try and check your DNA? Because you just want to know if you got some, what you got in you, what kind of ancestries you got, and that's tainted and makes you sick. Also, I don't know if people really realize this, but that data goes into a government database, and then they have information on your DNA, and they can figure out how to build a bioweapon to attack a majority of human beings. The weakoids. I don't understand this. I think that this is the most serious thing ever. Now, I will ask you something very important, and that's just to simply hit the thumbs up button and share this thing. You just hit the share button, and it says create a post. And you just say, check it out, or something like that, right? I will tell you that the last video I did was the most commented and shared video, and the algo did not want to share it. But it hit a Facebook group, ironically. And I'm telling you, this is the crazy thing. And this is where God, the light, shines through the darkness. It hit a Facebook group, and it started to blow up. The algo was trying not to share it, but it couldn't because of the outside traffic coming in from Facebook. Because somebody shared it on some group with a bunch of people. This is how we have to. We're in a world where Satan created money, fiat currency, right? It's nothing. It's worthless. It has more satanic symbols on it you can shake a stick at. But you have to use that because you're in that system to get out of that system by buying gold and silver, by paying off your properties, paying off your debts, your mortgages, your death contracts. It's be in this world but not of it. Occupy the land is what the Bible says. So you can't occupy the land by renting. You occupy it and then produce it. Like a farmer owns a piece of land and tills up the soil and fertilizes it, seeds it, and produces a crop and sells it, and it becomes a blessing to other human beings. That's occupying. Being a renter is not occupying. And we have too many people that have taken vows of poverty or in their mind without even saying out loud they're a poor mindset. And you need to break out of that. I never called you to be poor. He called you to be truthful. And the thing is, come on in, man. It's pretty good. I didn't know which computer you want to use. Oh, Evo. My point being is, sorry, come in. What's up? Yeah? What? I got to talk to you about that later, because there was so much that was happening that day. I didn't know what you were thinking. Anyway, guys, I got to go. It's almost time for morning briefing. I hope you have a great day. The Economic Ninja.
What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth.